Hi you all, and welcome to my YouTube channel. Today I am making for you guys a Thor hammer beef shank tamales. Yes, I said that. And if you've never seen a Thor hammer beef shank, this is what it looks like. It's absolutely amazing. I'll get started and show you guys how I did this. So I first start with a marinade with olive oil. We got some red wine and some maple syrup, and then we're going to add in there some mustard seeds and black garlic and fresh thyme. We got that to simmer on a stove until that caramelizes and the sauce slightly reduces. And we get our Thor hammer shanks, and I did 3 of these. I did these through the holidays, and I saved one for tamales. And it's basically like, think of an oxtail or short rib. It's going to give that meaty kind of texture of meat, and they're so flavorful, and it's Wagyu, so it's very fat rich and juicy. I get these seasoned with Pappy's prime rib season. I got that seasoning for this because it's actually a beef, right? And so I use that with just some salt. It's one of my favorite rubs. And then I poured that sauce on them to have the seasonings be able to stick to the meat as I get ready to grill them. So I seasoned them up on all sides, got those flipped around, that Pappy's prime rib seasoning and salt with the glaze that I made. And then I'm going to get the rosemary added to them, as you see coming here now. That rosemary is that earthiness to that meat and gets that meat flavored with those herbs. It's a perfect complement to this Wagyu Thor hammer shank. So then we get this ready to get put on the grill. I use a Nomad grill. I'll tag it below. In the chimney, I first light some firewood and charcoal mix, get that smoking, and then get that poured into the grill. This is basically like a handheld grill. It's one of my favorites. Very compact, easy to use out on my patio or on the go. So I get those coals added in here as they've turned white and been heated pretty well. So we have a little bit of a fire here, and I do add some wood chips here because we're going to smoke it and give it like an applewood flavor to our smoked meat. And then I put the grate on top, and now we are ready to get our Thor hammers onto the grill. They're not only amazingly great, but they're so visibly like really nice to look at. So then I get the 3 of them on here, and as you see, it's like a Thor hammer. That's why they're called Thor hammer shanks. And then I get the remaining of that sauce right on top of those because we don't waste any of the pan drippings, and make sure that sauce stays on that meat as it gets smoked, probably for about like an hour or so. And in between the process, I give them a good flip, making sure to get that nice and browned on all sides. That one in the middle there was a little hot as I'm managing this without gloves. Don't do that at home, you guys. But I got it fixed and straightened up here eventually. But yeah, so there we go. And then once they're smoked, I get them into like a cast iron skillet. I add in the rest of that marinade sauce that I made and pour that all over, making sure we get all those juices and sauce on that meat. And then I pour in some beef broth because we want our meat to be tender. We need the juices to make this meat tender. So I add in the beef broth here, and then I tinted the meat with foil, covering it entirely in full pack snug, and throw it in the oven overnight. And I only pulled out one to show you guys the example here, but the meat pretty much shreds down from that bone. It's really nice and tender and juicy. And I took out some of the juice already, which is almost like a little like the fat and flavor, to reserve for my masa. Now is the tamale process. Don't judge me. This is my second time making tamales. But again, I got some of that juice from the Thor hammer shank to flavor and add that fat to my tamale. I added in some Cajun seasoning and some salt. It looks like it's a lot of salt, but it's not, because I have a lot of masa here, you guys. And basically give that a really good mix, getting those flavors incorporated. I want that masa and that beef flavor to come through. Again, making my own kind of remix on the traditional tamale. I made these for the Christmas holiday season, which is the normal season that tamales are really popular in. I grew up in a little story time, I guess. I grew up in Los Angeles, so technically I'm an Angeleno. And what that really means is if you've grown up in Los Angeles, you have a lot of Mexican food incorporated in your culture of your food, our street food, all of that. But California was originally Mexico. And if you are from LA, you are going to grow up on Mexican food no matter what culture you're in. And so this is my take of my cuisine. And I hope you guys enjoyed watching this, where I've made my culinary twist on these tamales. And as always, thank you for watching.